Welcome to Computer Specialist Repair. Today we have a customer's laptop. We have a Dell Inspiron 1545. So this is a older laptop, not an LED screen. It's actually CCFL with the fluorescent tube in it with the inverter. We haven't seen one of these in quite some time, but this is a customer that wants it fixed. Not interested in upgrading to a newer machine. I believe it does have Windows 10 on there. So basically, this is a simple one. I'll show you which one. If you look closely down on the bottom of the screen right there, you see there's a circle, a line going across, a circle. Basically, that's part of the issue, the crack. And then also, if you look, it's got it's hard to see in there, but it's got an orange tint right there. You see the Dell logo, and then that disappears. So basically, screen's broke. Could possibly have an inverter issue, but I'm gonna go more. The screen's cracked, and then it caused something to be shortened, and hopefully, not the inverter. We do have inverters laying around, ironically, from older systems, so it would be easy to test. But so this is basically gonna show you how to do the screen replacement on here. So on this model, basically. You gotta just remove. There's 6 rubber mounts. One starting down here. Basically, with something, we use tweezers. Get the tweezers on there. One of the most important things. Don't laugh at this. One of the most important things to this particular job, and I'll explain while I'm going around the edges. But there's one here. There's one here. There's one here. Basically, they're just hiding the screws. When you get these rubber mounts off, put them away. We stick them down here. The sticky part facing up. You can even put them up. But you want to get them out of the way. You do not want to put them somewhere like around here where you will do this and then they will stick to your arm and you will find them in your shower later or in your car, etc. Don't laugh. Been there, done that. Fall onto the floor, can't find them. For you people out there probably saying, oh wow, what's the big deal? It's just a screw cover hole. For some odd reason, our customers, when they find that out, they notice it's missing, they're upset about it, and they're on eBay looking for replacements for it. So me personally, I kind of like the way the screws look, but to each his own. So after you pull those off, exact same thing, Phillips head screw. You will have 6 screws. For people that have seen our videos before, I fix it magnet pad or some kind of magnet pad lined up with the way you like to do it. Helps a lot. In this model, not a ton of screws coming out, but depending on how the bezel's taped down, and there are some things that can happen when you're doing this model. But always good to have the magnet. Helps with the screw placement. Alright, so once you get there, there's your 6 screws. Alright. Now, we're going to take plastic tar picks, scraper, whatever you want to call it. Basically, go around the top edge first. So, you're basically sticking it in right here. So, let's get a video of that right there. So, right there, you see there's a little thing. So, what I like to do is get the edge in and just wiggle back and forth like that. So basically, as you're doing that, it's always good to hold with your finger so the part that you got out already doesn't re-snap down. You're going to go around the edges, same here all the way down. Depending on how old the laptop is or whether it's been off before, so you're going to do the top, the left, and the right. Then, before you try to pop the bottom out, you want to get this down inside here. Sometimes there's tape here, sometimes there's not. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to get it in there like that, and you want to go up and down, and this feels like there is no tape there. Which means somebody was probably in here already, but it's always good to go along, and you also feel the snaps coming out on the top side good. And at that point, the bezel should come. If you got a part that's stuck like that, wiggle, shake, but it should come off. So I'm going to show you a little bit for another thing. So when you're taking these screws out, if you noticed up here, the screw was hard to get out or was sticking on there. So basically what happens on these older models is there's a magnet right there. You can see the magnet right there. That magnet is actually made so it lines up right here, and when it shut the screen, down along here is a little magnet switch, and basically that tells it when the laptop's shut. So when it comes down on here, it shuts the switch on there. We have seen where sometimes you have a dim screen on these old ones, and the switch could be bad, or the magnet, or it doesn't shut off when you shut the screen. That could also be the magnet's missing. Sometimes they 3D print these on eBay and all kinds of weird stuff, and you don't have a magnet. So if you have any of those issues, could be the magnet. You could put any kind of magnet in there, hot glue it, get it to go in there, and it should do the job. So that should, at that point, it should come off fairly easy, and you should now be to the screen section of there. For some reason, you can't get the bezel out. You will see on the edge of this, right here, the screen bezel goes back behind here. And for some reason, on some of these, not this one, and it could have to do with the tape and all that, you can't get that out. Once again, plastic spudger in here, right? And that will pop that off. On this particular model, this is a 1545. In order to get there, and I don't have to do it on this, but I'm going to show you people out there that may be watching this video and have the problem. Unlatch the battery, slide it to the right. At that point, it slides out the back there. 2 screws underneath the battery. These are holding the power button panel on there that I was just trying to remove. So at that point, take these screws over here, go back to where I was showing you, and basically with a plastic spatula right here, put it right in there, get underneath there and wiggle around, and it should pop off. That comes off. Basically these 4 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4, they will lift the screen out so you can get that bezel off. So I will show you. So what you could do, and I'm not gonna put the bezel on to show you what you could do. You could take those 2 off. There also is, what you could have did, while you had it over, is there's 2 screws on the back here labeled D and D. Basically that's for display, so they're holding down the 3rd thing. For argument's sake, I'm not going to take this one out, just because I'm just here to show you, and you'll get the gist of it. So you pull that off. Like I said, you would probably best to just take those 2 out when you took the 2 panel screws out. And then now, as you can see, this hinge comes out. Now you can lift it out to get the spudula in the guitar pick back in the back of this, or to wiggle it out to get it out. Like I said, this one I didn't have to do. I did these models before. For some reason, it was hard to get on, but so that's the easy way. It's not that many more steps, so if it doesn't come out bezel easy, that's how you do it. Do one side, put the screws back in, do the other side, put it back in, but make sure, most importantly, when you're done, that you put these display screws back in. But if it came off easy like mine, you do not need to do those steps, so basically you're going to see where you are at that step. Alright, so now we're going to go put the power button panel and all that back on. Just so, when you put this back in, same thing, you're going to put this side in, put the little notch in there, and then this side in, put the little notch in, and basically just press around, and you hear a bunch of clicks and notches, and should be back in. There we go. Alright, so now we're at the part where we'll leave the battery out for now. Now we're at the part where we're gonna get the screen out. Actually, this is the screen. People that are new to laptops repair, that used to work on an LED type thing, this is called the power inverter. This ups the amperage. These old screens usually, this is basically the wiring. When you see this wire set up in here, there is a cathode that goes across the bottom. Basically like a fluorescent light. Needs high volts actually to power that light. So if you're getting dim screen or not on the screen, this controls. New LEDs are totally different. Do not use this setup no more. But you will see these wires run into the tube. That's what the backlight. So on this model, I'm going to show you a little trick to not having to disassemble most of the laptop. This screw right here, basically, this holds the hinge on. What you're going to do is just loosen it a little bit, about 2 or 3 turns. You don't want to take it all the way out. At that point, you can get over here. I'm going to show you what that did. That actually bought a little bit of space to go get this 3rd screw down here without taking the whole assembly apart. So this model, there is room for 4 screws on, no, 3 screws on this. It usually has 3 screws. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the screws and we're going to pull 3 of them off. Now once again, if you didn't loosen that screw, you would get the top 2 off, and then you would get down to this 3rd screw and it would hit the plastic or the bezel. That when it loosens just a little bit, you can get the screwdriver in there, and just like that, it'll be good. What I like to do now, once you get the one side off, is tighten the screw back up just so you don't break out the post or when you're messing around with the other side. Alright, so same thing on this side. You're going to loosen it up. 2 full turns, I think I done that one. You're going to pull this back a little bit, and basically there's little tiny screws here. You're going to do 1, 2. This is where the magnetic screwdriver comes very handy with these. And then the 3rd one, just going to get it in there. And loosen it up. Okay, at that point, same as the other side, I'm going to tighten the screw back up. So at this part, the screws are out. Now you can do is take the screen. It should flip forward, no problem. At this part, you're going to see up top here. Let me try to get the camera in on here, good for you. You're going to see right there up top that there is, this one has a nice actual pull setup. So if it doesn't, you got to take the sponge and get it behind the tape that pulls out. This one has something you can just go and grab, which is great. Pull it a little bit, just wiggle slowly. Don't want to, this screen's bad anyway, but you don't want to jeopardize damaging the cable. Once you get it down to the cable here, what I like to do is get my fingers behind the cable and the top, and then just pull it down. Make sure the tape's off, pull it down, followed by pulling this off the screen. This helps good plastic, so you can just get it underneath there. And basically, you want to get the tape from off the screen. And then now the next thing is what we just talked about. So you're going to see these wires that go into here to the backlight thing. This, usually you can grab this and you shouldn't have to yank too hard. There's a plug right here, and you're just going to basically wiggle and pull it to the right, and you see the wire. Pay attention to when you pulled out red wire up top and latch on the back. Now, red wire up top, assuming that you bought the exact same screen and all that, that helps you out. But more important, you see there's a little groove right there. The groove's towards the back of the LCD screen, so it won't go on backwards, but it just helps you from trying to figure out when you put a new one in. At this point, the screen's out, so I am gonna go zoom in on here, and I'm gonna show you a few little things on here. So this is the Dell part number. So if you want to hop on eBay and you didn't order a screen yet, it is a R like Robert 801J. That's the model that you look for. So same up there, seeing part number and this and that. Also, it is a 15.6 inch screen. This is the older style. So I believe this is actually considered a 30 pin because the solder joints are so wide apart there. But basically, the rule of thumb with these old screens, if this plug fits and it has the cathode connector right there, if it has that and it's the same width and height, it's a 15.6, it will work. I think it's a 1366 by 768 resolution. Most of these screens are all the same. So if you pull one, I happen to have one out of a Sony, which I'm going to show you in a second, which is actually almost an identical screen. Everything with the electronics and stuff on there, just slightly not from a Dell. But if you wanted to get the exact screen, you go with that model. You can also go with the model down here, as you can see. So it is, let's see, right there. So there's an LTN 156 AT01-D01. Once again, that's one of those where if you get one that's close, at the end, the D01, sometimes that's whether it's a gloss, a matte, whatever, will work. This screen pretty much is useless, garbage. There's no resale value for a cracked screen like that, especially with electronic flaws in it. Also, and especially being an older laptop too. So now at this point, this is our screen that we had laying around. As you can see, slightly different model number, For the people out there that want to know this is a LP156WH1. This is out of a Sony laptop, but as you can see, same connector up here, same cathode wire. The grooves towards the back, as you can see, which the red wire is up. Don't be alarmed if you have one that has a red and black, a pink and white, and the colors are different. It could just be the way they wired it. You know, as long as that it only goes in one way. But this actually wiring wire is good. So basically, at this point, lay it down here so we get the wiring on here. So at this point, you're gonna take this same as before. Before you tape anything down or anything like that, you're gonna grab this. You're gonna wiggle it in. Should go in pretty easy. Anything that you have to mess with, pull it back out. This has a label that says this side up, which is always good. But just rule of thumb, keep this flat. This wire will never twist here. So that goes on there. At that point, put the tape down. If you have a screen, this tape retape pretty good. But what we like to do, and I'm going to do it here, grab a piece of Scotch tape. You can use electrical tape too, but electrical tape stretches and stuff. I am going to grab a piece of Scotch tape, and I'm going to basically put it right across the whole thing. There's a lot of movement and wiggling and everything with these, so that'll stop it from ever pulling out. At that point, you're going to push the wire down. It has a little bit of tape here, so I just put it about where it goes. You don't have to really mess with the tape too much because once it seats in there, this will go into this plug. Once again, red wire up because we knew that from before. With the thing on the back. Now I can get this in here, and it was about to go in, but I want to show you. There's just one little screw here, so for people out there that first time doing this, a little confusing, get the screw in there. One screw, you can take the whole thing out by taking the other screw, but no need to. That gets it out where it's a lot easier to get in there. Slide it all the way in, push it back in. Little silly little tricks that that you learn from doing them. So at that point, we got that in there. That's good. Part of the reason for the battery being out, why I'm laying is lay the screen back in there like that. We're not going to screw it in yet. We're going to get it in there, right? Make sure everything's good there. When you're working on these, it's always good to have the battery out in case you accidentally turn them on, whatever. This particular model, I want to test it. I don't want to put all these screws back in. Maybe you're not sure if the screen's going to work, something like that. So at this point, battery's out, so I'm going to plug it in, hit the power button, get ready to go into the BIOS, which is F2 on this. As we can see, I don't know if you can see because of the angle, but there is a Dell screen. When I hit F2, it's not orange no more. Looks good. I'll show you more once I get into the BIOS. These things are exceptionally slow. Going into the BIOS on them, there's lots of variables to that. Sometimes with the old screen too, it's detecting stuff that was wrong with the electronics on there. So rule of thumb there is you kind of want to wait. While we're waiting for that, F4, F5 on the keyboard controls brightness on there. So while we're there, we're in the BIOS now. So you can see, I'm going to go down to the video. LCD brightness. Brightness is all the way up, powered on AC. Good. We have a nice and bright screen right now. Probably give you a better view of that. Shut that off temporarily. So there you have it. A lot better than the other one. The camera gets washed out by our LEDs that are needed for the camera viewing, but looks good. Looks brand new. All right. So at this point, power off, unplug, no battery, no plug. So at this point, I always like at this point to glance over here and look and see the screws. I realize that we have the panel screws left, we have the hinge screws in the bottom. So I'm gonna do the hinge screws first. So same as before. Loosen this up. I like to go with the middle screw. For people that are using this video for, I don't know, every once in a while people use this to do a slightly closer model, blah blah. There could be a fourth screw on the side here. Majority of them were 3. Sometimes they have the fourth hole, sometimes they don't. But if you see a fourth one, naturally that needs to come out.
But go with the middle one, kind of give you a little. What I like to do with these is get them in, just snug tight them, so you give yourself room. Don't tighten everything down so it goes in, flush. This is the pin, the butt screw down on the bottom. But so at this point, now this is the last screw that I like to put in. You can snug tight that, and then at that point, tighten that screw out. Like I said, that way you give yourself some nice solid hinge to screw into. At that point, these go. You can tighten these pretty tight. I wouldn't get too crazy with it. It is aluminum inside the screen hole now, so that's good. So that side's on. Make sure that's in there. There's a little plastic guide hole right there, so that's how you know that's in there. So now we're gonna go back over to here. Loosen up the bottom hinge screw. Let's go with the middle screw. So usually, like I said, go into the hinge first, and then you can freely guide the screen to where it needs to go. If you are replacing a screen on a laptop that was sat on, stepped on, vice versa, basically what will happen on that is you may have to write down these, take these hinges off right here. You might have to break them down, the hinges off of there, and go from there, because you might have to straighten out that hinge. So basically, also, what I was running by with the magnet pad, why it's good is at this point, I can glance over, and as you can see, at the battery screws there, but more important, there's a screw laying here, so from the hinges. So purposely left that there just to show you what happens sometimes, and so I know I purposely left this one out, but why the importance of that is good, because it could be something important. This screw actually is very important. It will actually hold the screen from moving. One of the more important. Also, in this situation, I want to show you. Try to put that screw in and wouldn't go in, so I purposely left these tight. I wanted to show you. So now if I loosen them up, you can see there's a little play in here. So one of the rules why you don't do it, you can sit there and mess with that screw for half an hour. So now I pulled the other two out. Look it right in, because it gives a little bit of wiggle room. Now it's the last screw going in tight. Once the bottom screw is fully tight, you can go here, tight, middle screw tight, top screw tight. That's that. So like I was discussing before with the, if you bent your screen or cracked it, stepped on it, these rails weren't flush here. Usually the rule of thumb, what's good is you could bend them slightly here, but bend them without the with the screen there. Sometimes you can put it on and put stuff back together. This particular setup doesn't look like however that screen got cracked. I don't know, but it wasn't definitely nothing major on there. So now we have that. So now we're gonna put the bezel on. This particular model, I like to start down on the bottom here. If you had tape and you want to run a lot of tape on here, let's be fair, in this model, this is such an older model. It's not, it's more of a cosmetic thing than water. It's not gonna stop water or anything from getting in there. So, but we're not gonna put one on here. But if you want to, run on there, peel it off, and stick it down. These sit pretty flush to begin with. But at this point, you just want to go around, press. Should willingly go in. If something you're pressing hard and it's not going at all, back the whole thing back out, and reseat it. There's a good chance that's it. On here, put your hand behind the screen. Same thing, push on here, and you should, get everything on there. Once again, if you're having problems with this going down, always check back here. Make sure, no backlight, the wire was stuck in or anything there. And while you have it up here like that, you can see over here, this is there, so you can actually clip that on there, and that went pretty good. But nice, that's right there. So once again, glancing over here to the battery screws. Could put them in the battery thing, but I know where they go. All right, those 2 screws in. Since I'm only a few screws away from finishing the job, I'll put the battery in. So you don't have to flip it back upside down all the time. And now we go here and put the screws back in. So like I said, you're gonna have the six screws here. Pretty self-explanatory. Always good to hold where you're screwing right there. I like to go around the edge, make sure everything's snapped in one last time. Up here, I like to do the screws first, then the covers, just because those covers, if you did not take my advice and put those tabs, screw covers over there, and you look down and there's only 3, 4, whatever of them, check your arm right here. There's a good chance they're stuck there, or under the back of your hand, or or something else that you touch. These you torque down pretty good, not excessively plastic, crack the plastic, but okay. Now they're all in. What I like to do is grab the plastic, something plastic on there and put up there and just put it in the hole and press down. Now, some of them will lose their, depending on how many times they've been off and stuff like that, they will lose. If you do have one that doesn't seem like it's going on good, you can use a little dot of crazy glue. Be very careful with the crazy glue. Just use a tiny little dot. Make sure you have it off to the side. Don't get any on your fingers. If you get crazy glue on your fingers, get off immediately and stop, because if you do this or anything, you're gonna get crazy glue onto your screen and pretty much will be non-fixable once you start messing at that point. So for this, put them on, give them one last press down. Let's give it a final turn on. I'm not sure if this battery works, but let's turn it on. And there's our Dell screen. And as you can see, like I was stating before, nothing really changed since the last time I went in the BIOS. Turning it on, and these things just sometimes they sit at this screen, and there are certain things in the BIOS sometimes. If you have one delayed like this, this is kind of a rush. This person, Windows 10, there's the logo. This person, believe it or not, is in a rush because they use this to work all day. So we would get them back to it today. So I'm not going to really mess with that BIOS thing, but it wasn't too bad, But there might be something in the BIOS. Sometimes you shut off like a serial port or something like that, and it will go. This does not have a solid state drive in it. If I worked on it all day long, I would put one in here, but the customer just wants the screen fixed, so we're doing what they're saying. I can skip that check right there, just for the mere fact that I caused that. So when I shut it down and pop it, but just want to show you where it gets up to the little bit brighter. Another thing is, once you get in here, once you get into this, you get into the actual machine, and I can tell it's already bright, but once you get in here, it is the F3, F4, and F5. F5's brightness. Depending on how the BIOS is set up, you may have to hit this FN key right here, but for the most part, these computers just drive me bonkers with the non-solid state drive in here. Just how slow they actually run. Ironically, while I'm shooting this video, I have a solid state machine, but I'm working on next year, and it's literally rebooted 3 times. But there it is. I'll give you a test of the F4, see how dim it is. You can see a little brightness thing on there. So there it is. So there you have it, screen replace. Customer can now go back to work, and you know, if you're looking to repair the screen on your old Dell Inspiron 1545, there it was. Feel free to subscribe to our channel. We are trying to get as much publicity as we can, and we need more subs. So feel free. If you sub us, we will sub you. Leave comments, anything you may have liked or disliked, or feel that we should have added. We're 26 years of repairing computers, but new to the YouTube side of this. But for now, everybody have a good day.